Hello and welcome. You know that feeling, right? You're driving along and boom, there's a roadblock up ahead. Is it a real security operation or is it something else? Today, we're going to break down the whole reality of roadblocks in Nigeria. We're going to separate the law from the lore and really get you up to speed on your rights. All right, let's get into it.
You see it up there in the distance, and that one question just pops into your head, doesn't it? Is this a lawful checkpoint, here for my safety? Or is this an illegal stop that's about to waste my time and maybe even violate my rights? It's this moment of uncertainty that so many drivers face every single day, and we're here to bring some clarity to that.
And this scene, it's just all too familiar, isn't it? It's usually not some official-looking, built-up checkpoint. No, it's often just some drums filled with sand, maybe a few old tires, or some wooden planks dragged across the road, bringing everything to a dead stop. This right here is the experience that's at the heart of this entire conversation.
So let's start by really digging into this very common sight. What actually defines the roadblocks we see all the time, and how are they different from what the law says is okay?
Okay, so you've got to understand this crucial difference. On one hand, you have a lawful checkpoint. This is an officially approved post set up for a very clear security reason, like preventing crime. But on the other hand, you have an unlawful roadblock. And this is often the improvised one we just talked about. It's arbitrary, and it's set up in a way that just obstructs the highway without any clear legal justification. Getting this difference is step one.
So, now that we know the difference between what's legit and what's not, where do you, the citizen, actually stand in all of this? Well, let's turn to the foundation of Nigerian law to figure that out.
Everything, and I mean everything, starts right here with the Constitution. You can think of it as the ultimate rulebook for the whole country. It is the supreme law, and every single action by any government official has to follow what's in this book. There are no exceptions.
And baked into that Constitution are your fundamental rights. The right to dignity in Section 34, that means you have to be treated with respect. Personal liberty in Section 35 means you can't just be detained for no good reason. And, this is a big one, Section 41 guarantees your freedom of movement. Look, these aren't just nice ideas. They are your legally protected rights.
And this quote just says it all, doesn't it? The Constitution is crystal clear. Your right to move around freely is a basic part of being a citizen. Now, of course, this right isn't absolute. It can be limited for public safety. But, and this is key, any restriction has to be lawful and reasonable, not just random.
Okay, so knowing your rights is one thing. But who are the officials you're actually going to meet on the road? And what are the legal limits to their power? Let's break it down, one agency at a time.
First up, the Nigeria Police Force. Their job, under the Police Act, is pretty clear: prevent crime, protect people and property, and keep public order. And yes, the law does give them the power to stop vehicles and set up checkpoints as part of legitimate security operations.
So, if you are stopped by the police, what can they legally ask to see? Well, they have the right to check your driver's license, your vehicle registration, your proof of insurance, and your certificate of roadworthiness. It's all about making sure the car and the driver are legally on the road.
Now, what about the Nigerian army? Well, their main job is to defend the country from outside threats. They can be called in to help with internal security when things are serious, but their job is not routine traffic enforcement for civilians. And even when they are at checkpoints, they still have to follow the same constitutional rules as everyone else.
And finally, there's the FRSC. Their mission is very, very specific: road safety. They are totally allowed to stop you to check for a valid license, make sure your car is safe, and enforce traffic rules. Their focus is all about safety, not about general crime fighting.
All right, now we get to the real heart of it. We know what's allowed. So when does a lawful stop cross that line and turn into an abuse of power?
This slide just lays it all out, clear as day. Over on the left, you see the legal stuff: checking your papers, asking reasonable questions as part of an official operation. But on the right, you see the illegal actions: demanding cash for a settlement, snatching your car keys, intimidating you, harassing you. The point here is simple. The law never, ever gives permission for harassment or extortion.
And let's be really clear about this situation, because it happens. This quote from our research points out that if an officer just takes your keys and drives off in your car without formally and legally arresting you, that isn't just misconduct. It could actually be a series of criminal offenses. Let's just call it what it is. Extortion is a crime. If you've committed an actual offense, a lawful fine comes with official documents and a clear process. But a demand for cash right there on the side of the road just so you can be on your way, that's not a fine. That's an illegal shakedown.
So with all this knowledge, how should you actually handle yourself if you get stopped? This isn't about starting a fight. It's about staying safe and de-escalating the situation.
Here it is, your 5-step playbook to stay safe and in control. 1, and this is the most important, stay calm and be respectful. Getting agitated doesn't help anyone. 2, always keep your hands visible. Put them on the steering wheel, no misunderstandings. 3, if they lawfully ask for your documents, just present them. 4, avoid getting into a big argument on the side of the road. Your safety comes first, always. And finally, number 5, if something does go wrong, your real power comes later. Make a mental note of everything, names, numbers, the location, so you can safely document it and report it through the proper channels when you're clear of the situation.
You know, this whole issue is way bigger than any one traffic stop. It's about public trust. It's about the kind of country we all want to live in. So what does the road to real, lasting change actually look like?
Here's why this is so important. Every single time a roadblock is used to intimidate someone or extort money, it just chips away at the public's trust in our security agencies. It creates this huge gap between citizens and the very people who are supposed to protect them. And honestly, that makes everyone less safe.
So the real long-term solution, it's not just about getting rid of all checkpoints. It's about building a better system. A system based on professional, smart policing that uses intelligence, not just random stops. It needs transparency and discipline within the forces. It needs education for everyone, officers and citizens. And most critically, it needs real, lawful accountability when someone does something wrong.
And that leaves us with this final, really powerful question. Security and liberty, they shouldn't be enemies. They should work hand in hand. The challenge for all of us, for citizens and for the authorities, is to figure out how we build a system where the people who provide our security are also the strongest protectors of our rights.